Well, my name is Chip Ulbrich. I'm the executive chef for South City Kitchen in Midtown and in Vinings. I've been with this company for about 7 years, and I grew up in basically in New England, Cape Cod, and Vermont. Very deep, rich Yankee background for many years, and then came to Atlanta just to be part of what's going on here. Atlanta has such a great food scene, and there's so many good restaurants. So many restaurants come and go. You know, there's such a diverse opportunity here that you get a lot of different influence, but there's still a lot of that southern influence on a lot of restaurants here. And I think, you know, being part of the South City Kitchen family, you know, I'm part of a team of chefs that have gone through that place over the last 17, almost 18 years. That have really affected the dining scene in Atlanta, and that's part of the goal of Fifth Group Restaurants, which is the owner of the restaurant, you know, to really affect the dining scene in a positive way and to allow people to experience joy in our restaurants, and that's what we try to do every day. You know, I think the explosion or the popularity of Southern cuisine as it is today seems that it stems from a real need to identify with a indigenous kind of true, honest culture. And I think if you think about Southern hospitality and you think about what that means, what it used to mean and what it means now, I think it's become so much a part of the culture because of the ability to be able to get different types of cuisine in different areas. I think, you know, people have moved around. There's people that have moved to the South, either through their retiring, you know, all the way down to Florida, or, you know, people started moving more north towards South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, you know, those areas. You start getting exposed to those different cultures and foods, and I think that you know, then people come and visit, and they get that experience, and they might want to have that experience where they are. You know, one of the things that my wife introduced me to is something called Country Captain, which is something that her mother used to make. And the first time she made it for me, I was shocked that it was curry. It was curry chicken with tomato, basically, and rice. And, you know, because traditionally, you just wouldn't think of that being part of the Southern culture, but after you research it and I looked into it, you know, it really had to do with shipping and trade and how that influenced the South and those flavors brought over from an Indian captain. I mean, that's pretty much what it was, and it's an interpretation of an Indian chicken curry. But to have that kind of flavor and that influence is so interesting to me. And we've featured it on our menu a few times, and it goes pretty well. And it's, you know, but it's one of those things that I like to be able to go to because it's such an honest and true interpretation of what's going on in the South or what has happened. And I think, you know, the explosion of all the Southern tradition or Southern cuisine has just been in appreciation of that. I think it's just so nice to find something that you can actually look back and see old recipes, and you can talk to people that have been cooking Southern food for a long time, and there's traditions that are passed on generation to generation, not unlike other cultures and other traditions in European culture or African culture or Asian even. You know, every culture has its own cuisine, and I think this is kind of a very American traditional cuisine. But as far as traditions at home now, when it's just my wife and myself, I've got a ceramic cooker that you know, like a big green egg that I will smoke a turkey in, and there's nothing better. I mean, I've fried turkeys before, but I just don't like all the mess. I can put a brine turkey in my egg and cook it, and it comes out great. And I'll just cook up some collard greens, and I might make some mashed potatoes if I want them. My wife prefers sweet potatoes. We'll make that sometimes. We always make cornbread dressing. Her mama made cornbread dressing with white cornbread, and she'd crumble up saltine crackers in it, eggs, lots of onion, lots of pepper, lots of chicken or turkey stock, and the fat off the turkey. And it's really loose, almost like a pudding. And that's traditionally what we make. And of course, my kids and all her kids talk about the gravy that I would make. It's just pretty much drippings and a little flour and roux, and that was the gravy that I'd make. Chop up the liver and gizzards that are in there. And then dessert, I'd usually make a cobbler or a crisp. Sometimes make pecan pie if I'm feeling adventurous or if I really want to work hard. And that's pretty much it. And that's become my Thanksgiving. It's got to have collards, it's got to have cornbread dressing, and whether it's turkey or not, yeah, that's pretty much, you have to have that.